Catch the latest news on our website tribune.net.ph and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tribune Now. The Daily Tribune is one with the nation in facing the COVID-19 crisis, and in line with this, the Daily Tribune digital edition on Press Reader is now available for free online. You can also download the Daily Tribune app on Apple Store for iOS users and Google Play for Android users to get the latest and most comprehensive news online. Daily Tribune is also inviting everyone to join its community Viber Katribu to get updates on the freshest and hottest news and entertainment stories of the day. Tarcito emoticons are also available on our community Viber. Just click on the link in this video to join.
Hello everyone. Good morning, Katribu. I am Donna Policar.
And I'm Manny Angeles.
And this is Straight
Straight Talk.
Talk. Sir Manny, how are you? Good morning.
I'm okay. How about you? You look dashing today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. You know what? Our guest for today is a bit controversial.
Yeah.
Coming from a superpower nation that is gaining strength day after day.
Yeah,
So,
and I think he's a seasoned diplomat, having been ambassador also of China to the ASEAN.
yeah, before he was transferred here, no, since December last year, I think this man has a 30-year long experience in foreign diplomacy, right?
But I believe he has great shoes to fill because I understand the former ambassador Zhang Jianhua
Yeah.
is very close to the Duterte administration, and right now he will be focused on how to replicate what the former ambassador has done.
Well, without further ado, let's meet our guest for today, His Excellency Chinese Ambassador Huang Xilian. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Donna. Good morning, Manny.
Yeah, good
Yes,
morning.
sir. How are you today, sir?
Good. Thank you, and thank you for having me here today.
Thank you so much, sir, for accepting our invitation. The Daily Tribune and the entire staff express our deepest gratitude for gracing this program. So let's start our our interview, right?
Before
Miss-
that,
yes,
maybe
sir.
we could ask the ambassador for
yeah.
his welcome remarks.
Yes, sir. Your welcoming remarks first, sir.
Thank you, Donna. Thank you, Manny, for having me here today again. And it's a great pleasure for me to be with you. I know your newspaper quite well. I've been reading your newspaper every day.
Okay, thank you,
And
sir.
it's my great pleasure to be ambassador to this country. Since, I've been engaging this country for many years, since 1992, after my first visit to this beautiful country. And my hometown just not far away from Manila, is just cross the sea at the other side of the sea. That's Fujian province of China. So in my hometown, there are a lot of families who have a kind of relatives in this country. So I feel extremely, happy to be here, to be among friends and among relatives in this country.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir Manny.
Yeah, can I shoot the first question? Maybe you could give us first an update on the China-Philippines relations now.
Okay, thank you, Manny. As I said, that China and Philippines are close neighbors. We share time-honored bonds of kinship and friendship. We are not only partners, friends, we are also relatives. And in the past few years, under the leadership of President Xi Jinping and President Duterte, our relationship have been moving along the upward trajectory and ushering in the new golden age. And this year marks the 45th anniversary of the diplomatic relations between China and the Philippines. And our two leaders have maintained very close communication through many means, including a telephone call, exchange of messages, and that's or short messages even. And this kind of interaction have provided renewed strategic guidance and political impetus to the growth of bilateral relations. So in my observation since my arrival here last December, in the first place, China and Philippines are natural developmental partners who have been benefiting each other in economic development. China now is the Philippines' top trading partner, the largest source of imports, and the third largest in export markets, and also the second largest source of tourists. And the synergies between the Belt and Road Initiative and the Build program have been deepened, and a series of important projects and programs are being pushed forward in a steady pace. And China and Philippines are also close friends, helping each other through difficulties. This is a fine tradition between our two countries. And China has contributed around 35 million pesos in cash to assist the victims of Mindanao earthquake, the typhoon Usura, and Tao volcano. To help those victims to return to normal life. And in the face of the common challenge of the COVID-19,
Yes.
our two governments and peoples have been stood together and come to each other's help, writing a new chapter of friendship between our two countries. So I believe that true friendship endures trial and hardship through joining hands to fight against the COVID-19. The foundation of our relations have been further cemented, people-to-people ties are strengthened, and the sense of building a community of shared future deepened. So we have every reason to believe that with the concerted efforts of our two governments and peoples, our friendship and partnership will embrace an even better future in a new era. I'm very optimistic about the future of our relationship. Thank you.
Yes, sir. And since the outbreak of the pandemic, China and the Philippines have stood together in mutual assistance, turning anti-epidemic cooperation into a highlight in bilateral relations. And since China considered the Philippines as its major ally or friendly close neighbor, what does the country expect as key benefits from such mutual understanding? And what mutual assistance can both countries explore to fight the pandemic?
Yes, I cannot agree more when you talk about our relationship that we are turning the entire pandemic operation into a new highlight in our bilateral relations. Facing the common challenge of the COVID, our two countries have been supporting and helping each other, demonstrating a long-standing profound friendship, and also forging a new type of partnership in a new era. At the height of China's battle against the COVID early in the year, the Philippine government and people from all walks of life provided very valuable support and assistance to China, which China would be grateful and hold dear to our heart. And in light of the pandemic outbreak in the Philippines, we also feel keen for the Filipino friends and extended every help and support within our capability to the Philippines to fight the COVID-19. First of all, by dispatching a medical team from China to this country to share their experiences without any reservation, and that was the first and the only one, as I understand, who has sent such a medical team to your country since the outbreak of the pandemic. And by providing well-needed medical supplies to Philippines through our multi-channels and help the Philippines to improve testing capabilities. So far, millions of PPEs and other medical stuff have been donated by either the government of China and individuals and enterprises and local governments in China. And we also try to help local Filipino families to get tide over the difficult time. My embassy, in collaboration with our consulars in Davao, in Lawak, and in Cebu, we are providing friendship bags to tens of thousands of families who are suffering from hardship. And we also have donated about 3 million kilograms of rice from China, which have benefited about 500,000 people in 500,000 families in this country. And we are also doing our best to help those medical frontliners to tide over difficulties, since we believe they are very crucial for the country in fighting the pandemic. And we also try to assist the Philippines to procure and transport medical supplies from China. China has been the main source of supplies of medical products in fighting the COVID. And we have, granted a kind of special permit for your ships, even for your naval ships, and, that's Air Force, planes to go to China to carry that, to airlift those, medical supplies. And we are very happy to see that the curve of the infections, the new cases, is flattening recent days. So we commend the anti-pandemic efforts of the government and your people, and we support the Philippines to take effective response measures according to your own conditions. And we are confident that under the leadership of your President Duterte, your government and your people will be able to overcome the pandemic at the earliest, and we look forward to that. We will continue to the best of our capability to help and to assist.
Okay, Ambassador, the
Yeah.
global health crisis has slowed down economies all over the world. Even superpowers like your country has been affected. So, what kind of cooperation are both countries doing to address the slowdown of economies and to further recover from this pandemic?
Yes. All countries around the globe have been badly infected by the pandemic. And China was also the one who suffered that kind of impact early in the year. And after 3 months, that's a month of fight against the pandemic, we have basically, achieved, that kind of major progress in fighting the pandemic. In the past 3 weeks, there are no local transmissions in China and no local infections in China, only a few imported cases from overseas. And we have started our economy, and the recovery is doing quite well. The second quarter of this year, China has registered 3.2% growth of our economy. And the latest development shows that our foreign trade also recovering quite well. For August, our foreign trade has registered the growth of about 6%. And so while we're doing our best to recover our economy, we would try our best to work with, friendly countries around the world to make sure that we will support each other, help each other to get out of that kind of difficulties. So when we come to the Philippines, we are working very closely with the government in our cooperation of restarting and recovering our economy. And in order to facilitate personnel exchanges and maintain the smooth flow of industrial and supply chains, we have reached agreements with some countries on the establishment of fast lane for the movement of people and green corridor for the flow of goods. And actually, we have already provided our proposals to your government, and we are currently negotiating on such arrangements. And I'm looking forward to early establishment of the fast lane for the movement of people and the green corridor for the logistic movement between our two countries. And despite this kind of challenges posed by COVID-19, it's quite interesting that several new industries and business models are being emerging in the course of the global response to COVID-19, such as the virtual offices, online education, telesales, and making a digital transformation another emerging area of BRI cooperation. So we will strengthen cooperation with the Philippines and other ASEAN member states in fields such as 5G, big data, AI, and cloud computing, and push forward the building of the digital Silk Road, as well as Green Silk Road to advance sustainable development and realize transformation and upgrading and enjoy high quality development altogether. So we know that we are also promoting that kind of 5G application, not only regionally but internationally, so that every country can benefit from the advancement of the 5G technology.
Mr. Ambassador, since you have mentioned about the China's efforts to help the country in its fight against the pandemic and its efforts of the Philippines to recover, do you think is China really want to share the vaccine should it become available? And President Duterte had repeatedly mentioned banking on the COVID-19 vaccine being developed by China, which, once available, will be procured by the Philippines and administered to Filipinos. But this kind, it was met by resistance by some sectors. And how will you allay the fears regarding its safety?
Thank you for the question. I think my reply to your question is affirmative. That yes, of course, we will share, the kind of vaccines with the country when it is successfully developed. That since the outbreak of the COVID-19, and China has been actively engaging in vaccine research and development. As of now, the WHO has recorded 34 candidate vaccines, which are in clinical evaluation around the globe, and there are now altogether 8 candidate vaccines in phase 3 trial, which is the final phase before commercial use. And out of the 8 candidate vaccines, 4 are from Chinese vaccine developers, including 2 from Sinopharm of China, National Biotech Group, 1 from Sinovac Biotech, and 1 from cancerological. So the above-mentioned vaccines from Sinopharm, they launched the phase 3 in UAE as early as June 23rd, and in some other countries like Peru, Morocco, and Argentina. And making the Sinopharm the world's largest first developer of vaccine entering phase 3 clinical trial. Mm-hmm. So I'm happy to learn that in Sinopharm has already conducted the clinical trial for more than 30,000 people in UAE. And among them, more than 1,500 people are Filipinos. And we are happy to learn that the trial is going smoothly. And the vaccine, works quite well. And no severe negative impact has been detected. So all those vaccines are working quite well. And we hope that they can be successfully developed after the completion of the third phase clinical trial. And just to preview, the research and development of China's vaccine strictly follow scientific and standardized procedures with a strict safety and efficacy evaluations, as well as ethical reviews. Otherwise, they cannot be chosen by WHO to be the candidate vaccines. So as a close neighbor and long-standing friends, as I said just now, China would like to prioritize the Philippines' need for vaccine and strengthen the bilateral vaccine cooperation according to the consensus reached by President Xi Jinping and President Duterte. So we will continue to provide support and assistance to the Philippines and stand together with the people and government of this country to jointly tackle the challenge of the pandemic and tide over the difficult times.
Okay, sir. When do you actually expect the vaccine to be out in the market? And before that, sir, before you answer that question, we will pause for a short break.
City, home to the country's first indoor shopping mall, the world's original Thrilla, and the first ever Bini Bini pageant. Now a place for your first win, your first catch, your first home, your first big break, your first date, and even your first love. Araneta City, the city of firsts.
And we're back. This is Straight Talk, and we have here Chinese Ambassador Huang Xilian. And sir, our question: when do you expect the vaccines to be out in the market?
Okay, as I introduced just now, the Chinese vaccines are doing the third phase in quite some countries. And some of them began the third phase clinical trial since June.
Okay.
That means the third phase clinical trial could be completed by either September or October.
Okay.
And if the third phase clinical trial is successful, then it will enter into a commercial use kind of period. So hopefully, Of course, I'm not a scientist, but as I understand that hopefully
Okay.
the vaccine will be ready by the end of the year or early next year.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, Ambassador, Malacanang recently issued a statement that it is willing to set aside the China Sea issue or South China Sea issue, mainly due to the government big ticket projects like the build, which China is helping us with. One example is the 20 billion Sangli Airport project with China Communication Construction Company, one of the companies blacklisted by the US government. Now, President Duterte had been firm on his stand that the Philippines will not follow the footsteps of America. What is your take on this?
Thank you, Manny, for your question. So we have taken note of the statement made by the presidential spokesperson that President Duterte charted an independent foreign policy that puts the national interest at the core, and that the national interest of the Philippines is to ensure the completion of flagship projects under the Build program. And we believe the pursuit of an independent foreign policy is in line with the fundamental interest of the Philippines and its people. The pragmatic cooperation between China and Philippines has always been based on mutual respect, mutual benefit, and win-win situation. And all projects are conducted in compliance with the existing laws and regulations. The in-depth synergizing of China's Belt and Road Initiative and the Build program has achieved fruitful results and is bringing more and more benefits to the people of our two countries. And Chinese companies have made significant contributions in this endeavor. So I believe that
Yes, sir.
any attempt to undermine the normal economic cooperation between China and Philippines will never succeed. Since President Duterte took office, our two countries' relations have been consolidated and deepened as our two presidents reached new consensus on bilateral relations. We worked to seek synergies between the Belt and Road Initiative and the Build program, featuring cooperation in key infrastructure projects, a promising field where the willingness and capability of Chinese sides meet properly with the demand of the Philippine side. Let me say a few words about this. For one thing, the Philippine government has set an encouraging vision to transform the Philippines into an upper middle income economy by 2022 and close to becoming a high income economy by 2040. And the per capita GDP of the Philippines exceeded 3,300 in 2019, historically representing a crucial turning point of economic development and key window of opportunity for optimization and upgrading of industrial structure so that the Philippines can surpass the upper middle income threshold. To achieve this goal, we believe that according to our experience, you have to overcome one very critical bottleneck, that is the lack of strong support of infrastructure. For the past several decades, China's sustained high economic growth has been underpinned by a massive development of infrastructure. So infrastructure is a very necessary precondition for economic development. For another, China has the world's leading infrastructure building capability, as well as investment capability overseas. We have become the world's largest construction market with a growing number of internationally competitive engineering enterprises. For your information, out of the top 250 global contractors, Chinese contractors have taken the top 5 places. With its world-leading infrastructure building capability, China is stepping up its efforts to link the world with its capabilities in this sector. And the BRI aims to build a trade and infrastructure network, either in hard or soft terms, connecting Asia with Europe, Africa, and beyond. So it is a vivid example of how China can connect the world with its infrastructure capabilities and experience. And thanks to the guidance of our 2 presidents, and based on the fundamental complementarity of industrial structures, more and more Chinese enterprises are participating in the infrastructure building of this country. From 2016 to 2019, the total value of China's newly signed contracts of contracted projects for the Philippines has doubled from $3 billion to $62.2 billion. And in the first half of this year, despite the kind of a challenge posed by COVID, the number increased by 26.5% year on year to $3.7 billion. And all in all, China always stands ready to work closely with the Philippines to remove all the difficulties and barriers that we face together and push forward the implementation of bilateral cooperation projects. So we hope that some more high-quality projects will be launched and implemented in the Philippines, so that the people here will enjoy the tangible benefits at an early date, and so that those projects will give impetus to help Philippines either to recover from the pandemic and take off to a new high in the future.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Since you have mentioned the infrastructure projects of the Chinese and the Philippines, could you give us, sir, an update regarding the Belt and Road Initiative that the Chinese government is pushing and the build projects of this country?
Sure. The G2G cooperation projects of our 2 countries are moving forward smoothly. Actually, I had a video call with Secretary Dominguez yesterday, and we reviewed all the progress of all projects across the country. And we agree both that they are moving quite well and they are contributing to the recovery of your economy.
Okay.
And in accordance with the requirements of the project owners and the Philippine government, relevant Chinese contractors and investors have resumed their work and construction gradually and efficiently, while taking at the same time strict measures of COVID prevention and control. So until now, the projects under implementation have resumed operation at over 80% capability, some even above 90%. And further progress has been made in the commercial projects, with several big ticket projects worth billions of dollars under implementation. Airports are on all negotiation, including such areas as telecommunications, airports, highways, etc. And a large amount of funds those projects needed come from Chinese commercial loan brought about by Chinese investors, many of whom will provide one package service of construction, financing, as well as consultation, maintenance, and training, with the all-round provision of Chinese technology, capital, and management skills. Those flagship infrastructure projects will not only contribute to the output growth and employment increase of this country in the short run, but also pave the way for bringing the country's infrastructure development, overall economic development, social progress, and people's livelihood to a higher level in the long run. And of course, Chinese investors, they expect the Philippines to provide a stable, fair, transparent, and predictable law-based business environment as a crucial prerequisite for foreign investors, especially for those big-ticket projects, as many described just now, of large-scale investment, long construction, and cost recovery cycle, as well as relatively low rate of return. So note that every project actually are a vote of confidence and trust in the Philippines investment environment. So we hope that the Philippines will continue to be committed to openness and cooperation to make foreign investors, either Chinese or investors from other countries. And we don't expect the Philippines to mirror the action of any specific country in the world on investors. And of course, we also don't wish to see that kind of commercial and economic cooperation be politicized by some politicians in the interest of their own political interest. Mm-hmm. And of course, we are confident that your government is paying great attention to providing a stable, transparent, and law-based, predictable environment for investment.
Ambassador, can you tell us your view on the RCEP, or the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, particularly its impact on the region?
Yes, RCEP is short for Economic Comprehensive Economic, a Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. It is proposed wide area economic partnership under negotiation among 10 ASEAN member states and 6 other countries. And last year, the 15 RCEP participating countries, except India, had concluded text-based negotiations for all chapters and essentially all their market access issues, and task legal scrubbing by them to commence for signing in the end of the 2020. And at present, the process of economic globalization has stalled due to the unilateralism and actions of some irresponsible countries. Furthermore, the COVID-19 has brought about unprecedented challenges and affected global trade and investment. Under this difficult situation, RCEP will play a key positive role in revitalizing the economy and promoting regional economic integration. And China always respects and supports the core position of ASEAN in the negotiation and has been actively pushing the RCEP negotiations process. And we firmly support the process of economic globalization and regional economic integration, and we're willing to continue to work with all parties, including the Philippines, towards signing the RCEP agreement as scheduled in November this year. We believe that it will benefit all parties because RCEP is expected to become the world's largest free trade agreement. covering close to about 3 billion people and accounting for 1/3 of the world total GDP. It will significantly promote trade and investment between RCEP countries, shore up business confidence, strengthen the regional economic architecture, maintain the stability of regional and global industrial and supply chain, as well as demonstrate the region's support for an open, inclusive, rule-based multilateral trading system. So we look forward to the early conclusion or tiny conclusion of this very important agreement in November.
And now we're rounding up our program. But before that, our last question, sir. Mr. Ambassador, what are the forthcoming cultural relation projects that you would like to pursue with the Philippines?
Okay, over the past 45 years, our two countries have enjoyed thriving people-to-people exchanges. So far, 34 pair of sisterhood cities or provinces involving tens of millions of people have already been established. And China has been the second largest tourist origin of the Philippines for years. Last year alone, the number of Chinese tourists to the Philippines stood at 1.74 million. And in recent years, we have provided more and more scholarships for Philippine students to study in China. And there are more and more Filipino teachers and students choose China as their destination for teaching and studying. We're happy to see this kind of trend. And China will also set up a Chinese cultural center in this country in the future. So as exchanges and cooperation between our two countries in science, education, culture, arts, media, think tanks, youth, and other fields become increasingly vigorous, we believe that our traditional friendship has been full of vitality in the new era. And that a good bilateral relations can only be based on good understanding and friendship between their peoples. So in the future, we'll continue to strengthen extensive interactions and exchanges between local governments, media, think tank, and between our two countries to foster a favorable atmosphere for the China-Philippine relations to grow from strength to strength. So as ambassador to this country, I hope that I will also be a cultural ambassador who will, invest, extensively in promoting cultural exchanges between our two countries. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, Mr. Ambassador Huang, for gracing our program this morning. Your final words, sir, your final message to our followers.
Thank you so much. It's great for me to attend this program. And I'm very impressed by your questions. And I hope that you will make my voice more heard by the Filipino people. And we hope that, in the future, we will have more interaction with each other to improve the understanding between our two peoples. Thank you. Thank you, Donna, and thank you, Manny, for having me today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. And this has been Straight Talk, and I'm your host, Donna Policar.
And Manny Angeles.
Good morning.
Until
next time.
See you.
Catch the latest news on our website tribune.net.ph and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tribune Now. The Daily Tribune is one with the nation in facing the COVID-19 crisis, and in line with this, the Daily Tribune digital edition and press reader is now available for free online. You can also download the Daily Tribune app on Apple Store for iOS users and Google Play for Android users to get the latest and most comprehensive news online. Daily Tribune is also inviting everyone to join its Community Viber Katribu to get updates on the freshest and hottest news and entertainment stories of the day. Tarsito emoticons are also available on our Community Viber. Just click on the link in this video to join.
Bilang bagong mag-asawa, sabay kami natututo sa buhay.
Sabay rin namin inaaral ng mga bayarin sa bahay.
Kahit kami, nagtaka sa biglang laki ng electricity bill namin. Huwag pong mangambang maputulan. Sinisigurado ng Meralco na walang disconnection hanggang September.
Estimated bills lang ang natanggap natin ng March, April at para sa ilan, May. Dahil sa lockdown, isang tabi to para hindi na maguluhan.
Ang May o June ay actual meter reading na. Kung May nagka-actual reading, ibabawas dito ang huling reading bago mag-ECQ. Yan lang po ang ating babayaran hanggang 3 buwang konsumo.
Kung estimated reading sa May at June nagka-actual reading, ibabawas din dito ang huling reading bago mag-ECQ. Yan lang po ang ating babayaran. Hanggang 4 na buwang konsumo, walang labis. Tandaan, kung ano lang na konsumo,
Yun lang ang babayaran.
ako po si Mateo G.
At ako naman po si Sarah G.
G?
G!
Good morning, sir. How may I help you?
Bakit kailangan ko pang pumunta sa bangko?
Oo nga naman, sir. Ba't kailangan pang pumunta sa bangko?
Why not get a UB app so you can do all these without going to the bank? Bank the way you live. Union Bank.
Ang Philippine Offshore Gaming Operators o POGO ay isang legitimate business entity na nagbibigay serbisyo sa offshore gaming para lamang sa mga manlalarong nasa abroad sa pamamagitan ng internet. Ang mga serbisyong handog nito ay katulad ng casino games at sports betting na pwedeng laruin kahit wala sa casino. Sa Pilipinas, walang POGO operators. Tanging POGO service providers lamang dahil nagaganap ang mga laro sa labas ng bansa.
Click, that's it. Never thought self-service can be this slick. Modify plans in a snap, walang hirap. It's a wrap, just tap the app. Now you can check, view, subscribe, renew. Help and support for you. Out with the Ring apps are the in thing. You know what to do. Globe at home and Globe One, all in the Globe app na yan. Self-service and easy to use. Mas okay tayo dyan. Globe at home and Globe One, all in the Globe app na yan. Instant response, no hold time pa, wala nang hintayan. Download Globe at Home and Globe One app, all in the Globe app na yan.
Download the Globe One and Globe at Home apps from Google Play Store and Apple App Store now.
Download Globe at Home and Globe One app, all in the Globe app na yan.